Hello, welcome to this week's video. Today we're going to have a chat about moving like a human. Essentially, this month we're talking about exercise, and we wanted to start off by just talking about the variability and the different ways in which we move as a person. In everyday life, it's not like we ever consider how the best way is to bend over and pick something up, the best way to put something in a cupboard, to pick up our child, to do our job through everyday life. We've kind of just got this subconscious way in which we move. Our brain's got maps and it just accesses it and it looks at the end goal rather than how to do stuff. It just goes, I need to pick that up, and it figures everything out in the back end in terms of those maps and just goes, end goal achieved. But what we did want to address is what happens when we either injure ourselves or something gets sore. And the number one thing is we avoid that soreness or that pain, right? And that what we do then is we start avoiding particular movements or particular options for movement. So when we've got that end goal of bend over and pick up a pen, our brain goes, I don't want to do A, B, C, and D because I know all of those hurt. So your options have now cut down in terms of how you're going to move.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess another example of that is, like, I'm sure a lot of you have done this before, when you roll an ankle and it swells up and it's really sore to start to walk on. So initially we'll compensate. We'll walk with a little bit of a limp. Instead of walking with our foot coming up and down, we'll come out to the side. You might hit your hip as you walk as well. And all of those things start off as a subconscious way of compensating for that movement because it hurts to walk on it. The issue that people end up going into is that over time, walking in that altered way, you usually end up with other issues, like suddenly your knee starts to hurt, or your hip is hurting, or you end up with low back pain, which I see in a lot of my patients as well. And a lot of those pre-planned maps of movement are really good in the short term, but in the long term, we can run into issues if we've got an injury in that way. So one of the benefits of seeing a physio is that we can not only, I guess, help with that pain initially, but we're really equipped with seeing those different ways that people move and might be able to suggest some different options to move when you've hurt yourself as well. Yeah,
because I mean, there's always different ways to go about modifying things too. We don't necessarily always have to just not do a movement. Sometimes changing the speed of the movement, sometimes changing the load, even the context of a movement. If you look back to all the pain videos we did last month, changing the context or where you are or how the environment influences something can change that as well.
Definitely.
But I guess the most important thing, or the point we want to make in particular in line with this month, is that exercise is that tool that we use to start retraining or accessing a lot of those maps and a lot of those movements that we're sort of avoiding at that time period when everything's really sore.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, part of the importance of exercise is not only does it help to retrain those movements, but even outside of an injury, the more movement plans and movement maps that you can have ingrained in your subconscious means that if you do end up injuring yourself, you've got all these different tools that you can use to be able to move in a pain-free way and get you back to your exercise or your workouts, or even just, bending down to pick something off the floor like Matt talked about earlier. So
yeah. And essentially, like, the more of those you have, the better skilled you are at movement. Even as an example, they've done a lot of really interesting research on golfers and professional or elite professional versus still elite, but the lesser end of the elite town of golfers. And when they look at their swing, the top end actually have more change in position in the club when it's up the top here. But they're better at figuring out how to get that club back to that point to strike the ball perfectly. And as you go down the tier of still elite golfers, at the bottom end of town, their entire swing is much more consistent than the top end of town, which doesn't make sense, right? Just logically.
Not on the surface.
No, but when you stop and think about it, those people who are really good at moving and have lots of options always manage to find their way back to a good point to strike the ball. And that's essentially what we want for everyone, who walks out of the clinic, is we want to give them as many options as we possibly can to achieve the outcome, so that no matter what life throws at you, you can get it done quickly, efficiently, and be happy about it.
Absolutely.
Move like a human.
Move like a human. So yeah, that's the end of our video today. If you have any questions, please send us a message and stay tuned for some more videos next week. Thanks, guys.